take care of you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me properly, if I'm coming through loud and clear, because today we have an awesome, exciting segment for you guys. We're talking about how to build good documentation in Notion. And the intention of today's live stream is it's twofold. The first one is to help our existing members who are using our fantastic toolboxes systems in the toolbox.cox3.com, ranging from L-CTRL to being intentional to gamify your life. How do you exactly understand how to use the entire system end to end, and where are all the documentation that can be found for these different systems for you to effectively use them, for you to also effectively understand the why and how it's built so that you can also customize it for yourself. Now, for anybody that also wants to learn how to make their own documentation in Notion very seamless and understandable for all members of their community, or let's say their business, or even their own personal life for personal understanding, today is how you're going to learn exactly how we do documentation to make things easy to understand for thousands of members who use our templates, but also for you to help make sure that your documentation is as clear and concise as possible for your needs and purposes. So I'm really excited today to talk about this topic because I think there's just so much that we could discuss today to help you have clear understanding of how to use our systems and how to make your documentation a little better for yourselves. So let's get straight into it. Let's get right into today's conversation because I am just so excited. I can't wait. So I'm switching to this view right now, and you can see that I'm currently on my L-Control system. Again, if you're not familiar with the L-Control system and you haven't seen our toolbox yet, essentially it's just an entire package. It used to be actually called our super package, so you can tell how super it is, but it intends to build intentionality into your life while equipping you with the tools to make work enjoyable and fun. Essentially, it's just a lot of templates to help you keep you organized, and also includes all the gamification inside to make sure that your process in getting to the end that you want, the goal that you want, is extremely fun and engaging as possible. Anyway, I have a whole video talking about the system. I'm not going to do that much about it in this conversation, in this live stream, but what I do want to show you is, just in case you're not understanding yet exactly how things work inside our system, this is exactly how. So when you land into any of our systems, we basically have a very strong tutorial section that helps you get used to what we can do inside the system. And we call that the build your own system. If you've been with us since the new year or before the new year, you would probably know that it used to be called the build your own dashboard, and it's still referred that in our different videos. But just for your reference, the build your own dashboard is the build your own system. We've actually done a migration, and all the content found inside that previous page is now in this page. We just thought build your own system was probably more aptly named. So if you go to the build your own system, again, you click on it. I've already opened it, so I'm just going to open it right here. Essentially what you see is a whole tutorial section that has everything laid out for you very cleanly. I'm going to just quickly go through to explain to you, like, for example, if I go into the intermediate mode, right, I start there, which I actually very recommend. The easy mode is there for you to start small, start fast, if you want a basic task manager, if you want just to start your weekly quests. But if you really want to get up and going with our templates, the best way to start is starting with the intermediate mode. Of course, that's if you're using the L-Control, be intentional. If you are just starting with, gamification and stuff like that, then you might start with the other modes instead, depending on, which template that you have. Anyway, intermediate mode is where I'd start you off at, and the really cool thing now that we have, and we didn't have before, is we have this, very nice tutorial section, and then we have the next step. So let's say I read through all this. I said, okay, I've done this. I've finished this tutorial. I can check that off, and then I can go to the next step. I can go to the next step, which is determine your purpose. And again, has a little more in-depth knowledge about how I can determine my areas of competence, how I can work through the values that make sense to me, that I want to live by, and I want to, just really embody in my life. And then of course, then I can go to the next and previous step. And something that is very important here is that, we've separated out the backend, which is the actual database, from the tutorials. And the really important thing of why that matters is because when you separate it out, we're making sure that everything inside here are just views. So there's a whole video I have explaining what views are in Notion, but just to keep it short, views are essentially windows that you can use to see into your data that you have inside Notion, right? And the beauty of having these views is that even if I delete a view by accident, let's say I deleted this by accident, it's totally fine because it wouldn't affect the underlying data found in the database. This makes it really easy for anybody who wants to work in a kind of like a sandbox environment. You don't want to, break anything because you're brand new to the system, you're scared. So we've created this environment for you to be like, I can do anything that I want and I don't have to be scared because the data is still always going to be intact no matter what, even if I royally, break everything and everything seems a bit messed up. So that's something that is very unique about the way that we've laid it out. I don't think I've seen this laid out in any other systems before like this. So really, I just want to share that there's these kind of little quirks that you can do to make Notion really work for you. And today I'm hoping to show you how we're taking advantage of that to help make your systems better, but also for you to consider, all the intentional thinking behind how you can make your system better as well. So that's the tutorial section, right? And I want to show you, for example, if you click on the the system backend. Actually, let me just open the entire backend for you just to show you where it is. And if you want to just see the whole backend by itself, you can just go to the workspace section here and click on backend and views. So basically, if you go to backend and views, what you'll see is this wonderful layout, and it might seem a bit overwhelming right now for you to see, but basically it's very simple. You can see all your Be Intentional dashboards in one place, all your core databases for Be Intentional, all the trackers we use, all the gamification database, gamification dashboards, and all those other unique different databases that we have as well. Now, the really cool thing again is that let's say I go into a dashboard. Let's say the Make Life Simple dashboards, which is one of our best dashboards that you should definitely take a look at. And let me open this as page. I really recommend always opening as page, by the way, because it makes things a lot easier to navigate. You don't have to worry about clicking in and then clicking away and etc, etc. And I like to use Notion on the browser because I can open multiple tabs just like this. So once you get in, you can see something really cool, which is we have this database section, which actually shows you like what's all the different views of databases that we use inside this dashboard. So you know that when you come into the Make Life Simple dashboard, you can be able to manage your daily quests, your time boxing schedule, your inbox, your energy trackers, your success plan, your knowledge hub, and your areas of competence. And if you want to learn more about each one of those things, let's say I want to know, for example, more about the daily quest before I use them, well, I'm going to click on daily quest. It's going to load up this page for me, which is awesome. I'm able to see, like, for example, if I want to learn more about it in the tutorial section and I see that I actually haven't checked that off yet because I haven't done the tutorial, then I can actually just go into the tutorial section. I can see, for example, I click on that and I can see, oh, this is exactly how I can use it. This is a guide on how I can set up my own daily quest, which for us is just daily habits, a fun way to make daily habits work for us. And of course, you can see our database here. Now, going back to the daily quests, I can now see, for example, oh, these are all the different dashboards that I could use that include this unique template. And I'm like, okay, very cool. I can see that there's different views that I can use if I want to copy them into another place, so I can make my own dashboards. And for this also, I've seen a few people ask me about how does this work. Well, actually, it's very easy. So let me open this as page, as I do. I like to do that. You can see that there's 6 dots beside the daily quest here, right? So if I click on this and I can just use Command or Control C, I copy it on my clipboard. And let's say I just go to a brand new page. Let's just say I go back to the main, let's just say actually I make a new dashboard. Let's just say I go and make a new dashboard. So I go to Backend and Views. I make a new dashboard just as an example. I'm like, brand new dashboard. Okay. And then I decide that I want this brand new dashboard to have so I'm gonna click on new dashboard here. There's a little template that just auto generates some frameworks for me. There's a schema thing which may not make sense if you're building your own dashboard, but usually I just like to, I'll show you what the schema is. Actually, it's a very cool part of our system, and actually our system is 4 pieces, so I want to show in terms of documentation, so I want to show you how that works. But for here, let's say I just paste. Again, I have it on my clipboard, so I Command or Control V depending if you're using a Mac or Windows. And when you do that, you can actually duplicate the view. And if I click on the plus button now inside this new dashboard that I just created, I can actually have all the different views that I want to use for this daily quest already all generated for me. Everything from my morning routines to my midday routines to my visual view if I want to see like all the different days that I am currently working on. So it's very, very cool. I want you guys to be very familiar with this because understanding how the back end and the front end, or we call it the build your system dashboard, is viewed is very important, or build your system tutorial, whatever you want to call it, whatever works for you. Cool. Okay, so I mentioned that there's 4 different parts of our system in terms of documentation. So the first part is the build your own system, which, as you guys know, tutorial section, views, makes it easy so that you don't have to worry about breaking anything. Great, super simple, concise, and you can understand that. Then we have the backend. The backend is here, which is basically a place for us to store the actual database and for you to find new views in case that you want to make your own dashboard, which I actually very much recommend when you go and get used to the system. Now, there's also a opportunity for you to go and see exactly which dashboards feature which database. So you can see, hey, how has Conrad or how has the rest of the community been able to put things together so that it makes sense for them? Like, what's their favorite dashboards? What's their favorite look and feels? That's how you can see how we use it, and of course how you can inspire yourself on how you can use it. We have Cass in the chat right now, or Kat, who has made just beautiful versions of her templates based off of our theme, fantasy world templates, which is very awesome. I think we'll have a live stream showcasing her work really soon, but essentially, just making sure that you can make your own dashboards however you want, and we're giving you all the tools to bring out the views that you want to use that relate to the systems that we have and make it your own and make your own look and feel on that. Now, I mentioned again 4 different resources. So what's the third resource? Well, the third resource is actually something that we call the Handbook. And there's this really nifty like getting started guide that I really recommend you guys read through whenever you first enter our system. It's really informative. Don't skip it. It's great. But basically, if you click on the Join our Notion team plan, you'll get directed to this page and automatically added to our workspace, where you can see a lot of like internal resources that we have designed to help you level up your experience and also guide your experience with our tools. And the beauty of it is that a lot of this is all very collaborative. So a lot of this actually is utilize for yourself to make sure that you can go in and edit things that you want and also update things as you see fit because you've learned more things about our system. So what you want to do is you actually want to go to something called the Toolbox Handbooks, which is something right here. I'll talk about the other stuff in part of our live stream. This is more targeted for this exact topic. But if I go to the Toolbox Handbooks, basically I'll get directed to this page where you can see all the different handbooks depending on, again, which system that you're using. Let's say I use L-Control. L-Control is the one I want to start with. You get to see like essentially how we believe your exploration journey kind of looks like. So let me open that for a second and show you guys. So we start off with duplicating the package, and maybe my face is in the way here. I'm going to just hide myself for a second. So you can see that there's a duplicate package is the first step. And if you're a new user, you're going to delete and migrate your data so you can clean out sample data. If you're not a new user, then you want to delete and migrate your data. But if you are a new user, then you go straight into the build your own system where you can find your step-by-step tutorials. Then you explore the backend, which gives you views and more. And then optionally, you can explore our schema or our handbooks, which is what we're on right now, and to learn more about how to customize your databases. And then finally, you can use our databases or build your own. Now, let me show you how that actually works in practice in terms of how our database looks or how our schema, rather, our collaborative schema looks and feels for you to be able to understand how it all works. And actually, for the rest of this live stream, after I go through all this, in detail, I'm going to be building a lot of this system schema together with you guys just to help you guys understand various parts of the system that you guys have always had questions about, so that I can give you the exact details about like why it was created, how was it created, and what are the different properties you might want to pay attention to. I've been very happy because recently I've been having the chance inside our daily calls or our weekly calls to just kind of talk about a bit of the secrets behind a lot of the templates that we have, like how I use them personally, little tips and tricks that I can't just really fit into like a long video that I normally would. So this gives me a really good opportunity to answer any questions that you guys have in specific. So I do want to talk about that near the end of this live stream, or maybe like after like 5-10 minutes. So what happens is if you're inside the backend and views, basically what you can do is you can see that there are a lot of different systems here, right? Just for example, let me go into the areas of competence, and you can see that there's a link called explore the schema. So if I click on that, and again, let me open this as page so that it's going to not move me away from that page. And I click explore the schema. And if I click this button, basically I can see that I'm inside the collaborative schema, which is inside the family workspace that we have. Well, basically you can see like examples on like who should use this, what's the benefits of this database, how does it work, there's areas, there's values, etc. You can also see what's coming up, and then also any new community contributions that are coming in. This is also another big part of our system that I want to show you guys that I probably haven't had a chance to talk about before, and also I think it could use some refining. So basically, we've made it so that we have a very detailed change log every time we change anything in the system. And this is important because as we get more and more contributors to the system, as we got more and more lovely people that come in and say, I want to make a difference, I want to make the system as best as possible for me, and as a result, as best as possible for everybody else. So when we go and come in and add contributions, it's really important for us to be able to keep track exactly what's been worked on, how it's been worked on, and when is it going to be released. Very important stuff. So I'm going to actually open up our updates web page to show you kind of how it looks. And I don't think it's completely 100% perfect yet, which is why I'm going to be building a bit of it on the live stream. But basically, if I go and let me just link this here. So this is the toolbox updates, right? And you can see that, for example, we have one version of the L control system that came out on Jan 1st, and we have on Jan 8th versions of, be intentional, gamify your life, grow wealth, the creator's toolkit, and all that. We can see that there's different things that we've completed and are actually related. So there's a little things that we need to update here, I think, in terms of the relations, because it doesn't look exactly clean and concise. But the idea is that if you ever go to toolbox.cox3.com/updates, you can find out all this information on what's recently worked on and in which release you're going to see it, so that you can be highly ready for the update when it comes. And also, if you're just if you've already had heavily customized systems for yourself, you can be sure that you know what was changed, so you can go in and just change the things that you wanted to change, so you don't have to duplicate the whole system again. But this is the last part that I want to talk about in terms of our 4-part amazing documentation for our systems and how you might consider how to document for yourself. So the last one that I want to talk about is this updates, right? Again, the important thing here is that anybody can come in and get clarity on what's been changed recently and how they can make the changes themselves. So the idea is that they can expand these different pages and be able to say, hey, what's been worked on and how does it work, and see some, cool documentation about each one of these. Again, makes it really easy to have collaboration. Now, how does this all come together? So for example, let's say I was on the January 1st version of the L control system. And let's say that I wanted to get, the January 8th version of the of the Be Intentional series, which actually includes the meal planner that we created with Mano in our live stream, I think 2-3 weeks ago. And that was an amazing live stream. And we said that because we actually have released that live stream 1 week after our templates already come out for Jan 1st, we would update the Jan 8th for the Be Intentional and for everyone else, so that when they get the meal planner, they have the latest version. And then obviously, everybody who's on our Jan 1st version was like, how do we update to get that amazing meal planner? How do we integrate systems? And that's a really cool part of our system now. If you've used any of our versions before, that, especially even if you use Notion, version updates is so hard when you're trying to catch up with different systems that are out there, not even just our templates, but everyone else's templates out there. So how do we do it? How do we make this a better experience for you? How do we make this a special experience for you? So how we do that is we actually have this place called Integrate Systems. And the Integrate Systems is a very cool place that I'd like to share with you. And also I'll talk about the migrate and delete data as well. I don't want to forget about that. But the Integrate Systems basically talks about how, you can migrate the dashboard first inside the build your own system for the tutorials, and then you can also migrate the backend and views to make sure that you have the databases ready for your system to be able to see or to be able to migrate the exact data structure that we have that's updated, especially for example to build the meal planner. So let's go through the step-by-step to show you how we would integrate, for example, the meal planner into the January 1st version of our L control system. So let me drag that over so you can see. So I took the free templates for, actually it was the Jan 11th version, not Jan 8th. I gotta fix that. But I took the Jan 11th version, which actually has inside the free version, you already have the meal planner. So if I go into the build your own system, you can see that it only shows you the household management, the relationship management, and the knowledge management. So let's say I go into the household management, which is the meal planner. You can see that it looks like the brand new version that we know and love that we covered in the live stream here, right? You see the recipes this week, and how to check if you have stock at home, really just all the cool things that Mano and I have built in that live stream. So let's say that you want to get this special privilege that you can just duplicate it easily and work on it yourself. Great. Let me also just show you in contrast how the January 1st version looks, right? So that looks a bit different. So that it's, you know what to change. So it looks like this. Again, it looks a bit different. There's a lot less documentation. It's a lot more just clean and concise. But the other one has a lot more features that are well packed. So what you want to do quickly is you want to go in here and say this is old. So you just know that this is the old stuff so you don't get confused about it. And another thing you want to do is going back to the main page of this January 1st version, you're actually going to want to also go into the backend and views and then clean up that a little bit as well. So what you want to do is you want to go into the meal planner here, right? And you also want to put the old here just in case you get confused. Okay, awesome. So 2 quick steps that you can do, okay? Very quick steps. It'll take less than 5 minutes, and obviously just a little bit of tinkering after the fact. And again, thank you to our members in our community who have already gone through this experience and given me feedback on how this could be improved. But in this case, very clean, very concise. I see the household management, right? And I just want to make sure that I can find this template very easy as well. Okay, I'm also going to rename the system setup to say, and usually, as you guys have seen my live streams before, I like to make my databases have a specific emoji or a specific word so that I know which one I'm transferring to. So then I'm saying maybe work in progress, right? And then I'm also going to rename the system thing to be work in progress. So I know that it's really easy for me to go in and send stuff to this database. Okay, so I am in now the new version of this template where I want the household management and household management only. Okay, I'm going to right click this. I'm going to click move to. I'm going to paste the system setup work in progress. It's going to find it. It's going to send it over to there. I'm also going to go into the back end. Again, I mentioned you have two components, the front end, which is in the build your own system, and the back end, which is in backend and views. I'm going to find a meal planner, and I'm also going to move to, and I'm going to find system work in progress. And then now you can see that we can see the system work in progress. So if I go into the old system now, right, the one on Jan 1st, you can see that immediately household management pops up. Whoa, cool. I can also see that immediately we have the meal planner pop up. And let me just double check that. Where did it go? I just want to make sure it's here. Meal planner. Takes a little while for us to update right here. So this is the new one. So what we can do is we can do two things. The first one is we want to go in and make sure everything looks good. So we see that there's a tutorial section, household management, it automatically related, but we see that these things are not really working. What's happening here? So we actually know that we can see the views. The views are perfectly fine. So the views are sitting right here inside this section. So the view should be right here, but the system and the system setup, these are actually linking to our old database, and that's not right. We want this to link to our new database. So what you guys can do, just to show you guys, is you can go to the new section in the top right here. We can check out the new database. We can edit this view, and then we can go in and we can copy this section here so that we can see what the heck we want to do here. So we're going to copy these setup and dashboards. And then again, a really cool thing that we have is because we renamed the databases, we actually know which ones are the new ones. So I paste it here, we can see the system and setup, and I'm actually going to delete now all the things here, the old ones. And you guys can rewatch this part if you want. This part, I'm just moving a bit fast because you can definitely slow down whenever you need to watch this back. But basically, I'm going to change the filter. Instead of new database, I'm going to filter by meal planner. And then for this one, I'm going to filter by meal planner. So now you can see that very easily. We can see all our databases at the bottom, right? All the original databases. We can see all the unique views that you can use for this dashboard, for any dashboard that you want to actually. And then you can see inside the household management, which is actually the inside the build your own system. So if you click on that, you'll see that it actually links to the proper one, the brand new one, which has all these different links. And let me just show you guys even on the build your own dashboard, build your own system, so you can see exactly how it looks. So boom, you see that it's all migrated. Now again, similar to the backend, similar to the system, there's a few minor tweaks that you have to do. Again, nothing huge because you've already migrated the content. The bulk of the content is there, but it's just in case that you want to have these blocks work for you still. All you have to do, again, is just go into the top right here. You can check out the new tutorial, you edit it, and you go to the bottom and you can take these two databases, right? And then actually, I'm just going to make sure I got them properly. Yep, copy using Command C or Control C. I'm going to go into the household management down here. I'm going to paste it at the bottom, and I'm going to just paste it like this. I can delete this block here because it doesn't matter, and I can just wait for those things to load. By the way, guys, if you've been enjoying this system, let me know in the comments, let me know in the chat, let everyone else know, because I think, again, I've said this again and again, but I really appreciate everybody who has been using our system since the beginning, since we started this, I think just about a year ago, because at the beginning, the documentation was not this clear. This documentation has taken months upon iteration and learning, and it's really all thanks to you guys that we've gotten this far. So thank you guys so much. So system setup goes here. We can see the WIP, and the system goes here, right here. We can also see that WIP. And I'm going to close this, and I'm going to close this. And again, you guys will notice that nothing shows up until I choose the household management, and I choose household management here. And then here also, I'm going to filter by household management right here. Perfect. So that's the steps, right? Those are the steps that you can see that, hey, now I have all the tutorials that I need to make this happen, and I have all of the components I need to make this happen. Of course, if you want to add a previous and next steps in terms of how you want to just plug it back into this section, that's up to you. Okay, Now, the last thing is about migration, about data migration. And this one, again, so cool. It makes it so easy. Let's just do, I'm gonna do two quick examples. One for the success plan perhaps, and then also one for the meal planner, which we just did, because I think it just rounds it off very well. Okay, so we have this page, again, if you go to our main page, we have this page called migrate and delete data. So opening that up, you'll get to this page, which basically gives you like a little brief on like, things that we've majorly updated that you must know about. So for example, the super package is now the L-control system, user guide, and became the build your own dashboard, which is now the build your own system. So basically what we do, and there's this whole like thing about like how to upgrade your templates. I'm just going to open this quickly just to show you guys, but you guys can read all about it at your own time. Like it tells you like exactly like how to drag and drop things into new tables. But what I wanted to show you really quickly here, something that's really cool, is that because we now have the backend and views, we can easily go in and see like which databases specifically we want to migrate data for. Again, maybe I want to migrate data for success plan. So I go in here, I go to the bottom and I say, okay, what is the database for success plan? I go to success plan and I can see that there's actually already a table view, which shows me all the demo data that we have currently existing in our system. And it's demo data because it's created by me. So anything created by me is demo data. Anything created by you is probably going to be your data. So all you can do is just you go in, you click the 6 dots, you Command or Control A, and then you can just delete everything, and it deletes all the demo data for you. Nice and simple. Easy as that, right? If you don't have this exact page, because this was in the latest update, then you can still go to the all view, which is still there. Again, the all view is just a table view that shows everything. And then you just add a filter for created by me. And then you can see that it all clears up, and then you can see which ones are yours, which are mine. You can delete data very easily whenever you want to. Simple as that. And of course, you can watch the rest of the tutorial inside that section of how to migrate data to see how you would actually move data around. Very cool stuff. Again, the beauty of having different views and different data elsewhere. Awesome. Okay, so let's say I'm going back and I wanted to, instead of doing the migration for success plan, I wanted to do migration for my, let's say the meal planner, right? And again, I would go into my example one that's right here. And I can see that there's the old meal planner and there's the new meal planner right here. So what I do is I would use the control button or command button on my keyboard. So I open it in a new tab. I can open up my databases in a new tab, and I can see that there's the old one I opened up just now, which has these databases. And then I have the new one opened up that has these databases, right? A bit more stuff. Let's say I want to migrate my recipes. I go into the recipes database, and again, I'm going to open up both of them, and I can see the differences, for example. So obviously the new one has a lot more recipes, but let's just say you've already been working on your own meal planner, you have your own recipes there. What you could do, right, is you can go to a table view again, all meals. I just like table views. It's easier to like select one and then highlight all of them. But you could do the same thing for the gallery view. You can just drag and then move to. But anyway, the whole point is that you want to move to, and then again move to the new database that we have in recipes. And again, you might want to just rename it, just as easier to find, call it work in progress, call it temp, whatever you want. Just makes it easier for you to know which database you're moving to. Okay, so I've gone through a lot of the different processes that we do to make sure that documentation is clear, concise, and simple for everybody to be able to use our databases, our systems to its full extent. I've also been kind of not paying attention to the chat a little bit, so I'm here now focused on chat to make sure that I want to help everybody, work on understand the systems that they use the most, that they care about the most. So we're actually going to go into the handbook right now, and I'm going to start asking questions about which handbook you specifically want me to cover, which one you think is something that you just don't have enough information on, and this is the best time to quiz me on everything so that I can share with you exactly how each system works and what you might want to use. Life itself, that's going to be a longer live stream somewhere about the mysteries of life. Maybe Tammy, maybe that's something that I can cover in this live stream, but very, very funny example. I would definitely want to be like wanting to cover a just random philosophical live stream. Awesome. But hi everybody, guys. It's really awesome to see everyone been so engaged throughout the sharing so far, and I'm really excited to talk about the handbook section with you guys because as I talked about before, like it's really intended to be highly collaborative, and I really want all of us to have an opportunity to contribute like what we know about it. So let's go into the back end. Actually, I think we should probably go through the back end, and I'm going to just go one by one. I'm hoping to at least answer a lot of the questions that you guys might have now as I go through each step by step. Awesome. So I'm going to start in the make life simple, perhaps, and then let's start with the databases first, and then I'll go into the make life simple. So let's go into the be intentional core databases. I'm going to open the schema as I did before. You can see that I can open this up. Again, I have a little blurb about, what it is, who should use it. Maybe members who want to find a greater purpose in their lives, greater purpose and deep meaning in their lives. Two benefits: you want to keep track of the areas in life that are important to you and what you're doing to grow each one, and also you're able to define your values, ensure that work you do lives up to your principles. Great. How does it work? There's different things here. Perfect. Masters, trackers. Now values is also very interesting. Values, I have a little blurb here that maybe will help you understand what values are. So I'm going to go into the determine your purpose here to explain a bit. And you can see, actually, I'm trying to reuse a lot of content we already have. So it helps us understand, what's what. Let me open this one up. What's this exercise? Okay, so I made like a values database that helps you actually you see, we have so much abundance. This is a little joke that we had. Well, a joke that Notion actually played on us because somehow our database ended up corrupting in that Notion. I think they had a little minor glitch while we were working on this values database. But basically, like, yeah, it's funny actually because we have a lot of abundance. Anyway, yeah, so we have like this whole database that helps you come up with meaningful values. Let's talk about it. Let's say we call this one. Okay, I'll just give some verbiage. Maybe I'll just explain it. So we all want to determine, who we want to be or the principles guiding our lives. It's important to not only define these, but also determine what, maybe I'll scroll down a bit so you can read that, but also determine what specifically we can do, we are doing, but also track specific tasks we are doing, tasks and projects we are doing that live up to these values. So the intention is that when we go through these, we can also know that, for example, like let's say I want to live by the value of happiness, right? And if I click on happiness, or let's say passion is good. Click on passion, then basically I can see like all the different sub areas that are actively contributing to me living up to my passions. I think that's pretty cool. So maybe instead of like not specifically tasks and projects, but specifically sub areas, track the specific things, because it's everything. You're just tracking everything that you're working on. That's really cool. Perfect. So now I can talk about the what's coming up section. And I think this is pretty cool because, again, I don't think that many have utilized this before. So let me go into that. I'm just wondering how to get to that page the easiest. Let me go into the updates page. Toolbox updates. Let's call it Toolbox. Co-x3. How can I get there quickly? Let's see. Just trying to find out. Maybe I go through navigation and then I'll find myself. Perfect. Okay, so I'm inside the toolbox now. I'm just gonna quickly go into the resources section and you can see the different updates that we have. So basically I'm just double checking to see like what's working here. Okay, so the meal planner complete revamp obviously should be linked to the meal planner. So I'm going to make sure that that's done like that. So meal planner is obviously linked. Released on the releases on the January 8th version, but I don't think it's January 8th. It seems like it's January 11th, right? I'm gonna double check that. But for now, I'm gonna update that. It's probably January 11th. And then so we can see that this information is getting updated like this. Who's working on it? This was Conrad and Mano. So let me find out. We have too many people in our community, guys. Too many M's. We can't find out. We can't find people anymore. Okay, I'll find out later. But basically, this is a enhancement. Let's not call it feature enhancement. Just call it enhancement. Perfect. And then inside here, we can explain what was changed. So we can go into... So I already have some documentation on this, which is very thankful. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to go and change it to add information so easily. Again, this is the beauty of good documentation. So I want to show you guys how that kind of works. So we documented this actually in the live stream here. So building a kick-ass recipe box and meal planner. So here, so we built all these things. So these are the things that we built. I'm going to plug and play it here. And also I'm going to link to the live stream so that anybody can watch it if they want to and watch along. So again, the beauty of this is that we're making it so that it's really easy how to, you know, keep track of all the different changes we made and also know what the heck changed, right? So that's pretty cool. So we have that. There's a bug fix that has to happen soon, so you can see like we have like a whole progress thing, so you can see what's coming up next, you know, what's being worked on. The weekly review cycle, obviously we can link that. Okay, so why I'm here is because I actually have one thing that I want to add. So the areas of competence, we just created a new values exercise. So I'm working on this. So Conrad. So I'm working on this as a value exercise and it's actually complete, or it's in progress because, or blocked, because Notion has a little bug that we want to fix with it. But that's being worked on. It's not going to be released yet. It's going to be released on a later version, probably next quarter. But right now, if you're in the community, you can actually duplicate this template once it works. I'll send details about that. Don't worry too much about it. But the whole idea is that that's there. I also want to make community contributions a lot easier to understand here. Right now, we're just adding in plain text. I think it's fine, and it's an amazing contribution there. But in the future, we probably want to consider how we can make this a lot more meaningful. And yeah, so, you know, as we go on, and this is why people asking questions are really good for me and for us in general, is because then let's say someone has a question about a specific property, then we can go in here and then we can say, hey, this property actually works like this. This becomes our FAQ. That's the really cool part, because if you've been in the community long, you know that we actually have weekly cohorts where every week we go through a different part of the system. One week we go through the areas of competence, another week we go through success plan, another week we go through the daily quest, and in the final week we go through review cycles. So all these different things come together and help us understand the system as a whole, you know, together with our community, and we can see all the different areas and success plan items that we're working on. I think that's really cool. I haven't seen that, you know, very often before. Now, the cool part is we can also have discussions there. So actually, let me open this up. I think it would be really cool for us to actually open it up and show everyone how it kind of looks and feels. Give me a second, guys. I wasn't planning on showing this, but I think I'm just so proud of our family. You don't even know. I'm so proud because we have just such awesome people in the community and just working all together. I can't help but share. So I'm opening up our Gilded space. So you can see this is our Gilded space is our community platform. But basically you can see like every single week we kind of go through like our areas of competence, and then we have a place where we can show our work, where everyone can kind of put in their areas and values and for the quarter what they're focusing on, in terms of their direction in life. So beautiful. I get so inspired by everyone because I'm able to see how everyone's, how they're structuring their areas and they're structuring their values. So I can kind of see like where everyone aligns, and it becomes a really cool way that we can all, bond. And, I see like, for example, Deo has amazing, a little screen art that, represents her and really helps her encapsulate her feelings about, the direction she's going towards. So I think it's really cool. For example, for success plan, we can see that everyone puts in like, their different goals and key results that they're working on, projects they're working on. Again, super awesome stuff. Really love seeing it. And especially because then I can see how we can plug in and help you fulfill your success plan. What initiatives in the community can we work on together so that you actually gain experience and also gain expertise in the places that you want to improve in. So very beautiful stuff. And of course, daily quests as well. We're in our 4th week coming up, but our 3rd week just started, last on Monday. So you can see that all the different, quests that everyone's going on every single day, all your daily quests, your daily adventures. That's super meaningful, insightful as well. And all these things, all the discussions are happening right now inside, for example, the success plan. So you scroll through, there's like 33 replies and questions here. These are all stuff that will actually go into the system, go into the handbook for everyone to enjoy. So please ask all the questions that you have inside this place. It's for everybody in our community. As long as you're in here, you can ask questions. So please come in. And the beauty of it is that once you finish from week 1 to week 4, you become a full family member. You've learned the system. You've successfully upgraded and leveled up in your life. So there's a huge part of this. And I'm super happy about this. Like, it really just makes me happy every time I see this. So forgive my rambling. Awesome. So going back into this, I just wanted to go back into here and show you guys all this stuff where we can see, back again to see all the different systems that we can have handbooks for. I see that, Dean has a cool question. Can we have a randomizer for quick community contribution methods? What do you mean by randomizer? Can you explain? What's the quick community contribution methods? What's that? I'm very curious to hear and learn what that is. Okay, awesome. So for example, now let's go to success plan. Let's map this one out a little bit as well. Again, just really happy that I get to talk about this and talk about what's coming up with you guys. So who should use this? This one's pretty cool. Okay, so who should use the success plan? Members that want that either are great planners but find themselves to be lackluster in terms of execution. Are great executors but often without intentional planning. So they don't get much done, and then so the work that they do does not drive towards outcomes they really want. So this is really interesting, right? So I feel like a lot of us, just the way that we were brought up in terms of school, either gears us to be like really great planners or gears us to be really great executors. It's one of the two. And very rarely are we put in the position where we can do both, right? That we can be both planning and executing. How do you structure your mind around that? And the secret sauce that I found is that you actually want to separate those two components as different parts of your brain. So sometimes you want to think in terms of like a founder. You're planning out your big goals, you're planning out your outcomes. Sometimes you want to think like a manager. You're planning out your key results, you're planning out your projects, and sometimes you just want to be the project manager and just execute all day. So it becomes really important for you to go in and say like, hey, you know, I know my weaknesses, and it's important for you to identify your weaknesses and say, I'm going to focus on using the system to help me compensate for those weaknesses so that I have a very good structure for me to go in and understand that these are all different things I need to work on, and, you know, have one dedicated time block for planning, one dedicated time block for execution, and vice versa. So it becomes really easy for you to work on things. So maybe we can do it this way. So great planners. And then of course we have the last bucket, which is the generic, you know, members that want to organize, want to have a smart, let's say, project and task management. Want to have smarter, but I think even project and task management is like understating what this is, because you can actually link everything together. Okay, so benefits: track progress on your wins, track deadlines and punctualities, earn rewards as you accomplish wins. Awesome. How does it work? Okay, I'm going to talk about some views and I'm going to talk about some properties. So let's talk about the views. We have lost children, which is really cool. We have all views. All views are useful to find, to showcase all the content inside your dashboard, inside your database, in case you have certain content that filters are unable to catch. Okay. So we have summary, which actually I want to recall to be description. Actually, it's probably going to be called description instead of summary. So that's a change I'm going to make. So for example, I just know that I'm going to make a change in the near future. Okay. So I'm going to say the property summary is renamed to description. Okay, so this is really easy. This is an easy one, but again, it's good for us to keep track of that because we know that we want to change that, right? So I'm working on this and it's not released yet, obviously. Okay. Another thing that was worked on was really cool is we have the delete demo data view, and I'm working on it and it's already done. So this one's already completed, but it's not released yet. So it's not released. So we don't have it released on toggle just yet. Awesome. So yeah, so that's one example. Use cases is a bit hard to say because we already have like a video that explains everything. But maybe like additional use cases, I'm not too sure because I want to okay, maybe I'll talk about one thing. Use the subtype property. Is it called subtype? I just want to double check this so I make sure I'm saying the right thing. I believe there's it's subtype. Yeah, subtype property. Use a subtype property to help you filter out different tasks and projects that belong to specific buckets. For example, you know, school, work, etc. Further customizations. There's a lot of customizations here. I think this further customization section would be good for like anybody inside our community that says, hey, actually I use this database in this specific way and this is how it works, and they can explain like how they use it. And yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. Okay, cool. This is like a bit of a brief on this then. And let me just also make sure that everything is working well. Ooh, another thing is that the versioning. Okay, I'm going to go back into this and make sure that I wonder if I should make a version property here in the first place, because the idea of this was to show what's the latest version for the system. But if I already have the packages and the packages show the latest version, then it doesn't matter, right? I think that's fine. I think the packages can show the latest version inside here. So okay, so version doesn't need to be shown. I can hide this now. So always hide, or I can just delete it later. Cool. So going back into the database or the backend, I'm just going to go in and do a few more because I think, again, I love this experience. I'm able to create this together with you guys, so thank you. And actually coming in now to see what Dean's saying. I'm on my pommel break and I want to do something for or with the community. Roll the dice and get a quick item like commenting on the introduction of someone you haven't met yet, or take a quick pic and share in life emotion. Oh, that's really cool. I like that idea, Dean. We're about to get the Guilded API or the Guilded early access to the bots. So we can actually make cool bots like that, just like how you have Discord bots. So that sounds really cool. But we could do like a lo-fi version of that already, I think. Okay, I think we can do a lo-fi version of it. We can, because we have this roll20 thing. Okay, let me just show you guys. We have this roll, I think it's roll20. So we have this site where you can just roll a dice, and basically we can set it to like, you know, 20-sided dice or whatever, right? This was more so for our loot box, which we talked about, I think, last, I don't remember. I think it was last or the one before that live stream. But basically the idea here that I see is, oh, not live streams, in our classes. But basically the idea here is that we can roll a dice, and then inside Guilded, we can have like numbering. So it's like, hey, if you got like this number, then you can try doing this. If you got this number, try doing this. And I think that'd be really cool. You're right. Very cool. Very cool. I'm going to do it myself, even if nobody does it. That sounds fun. It's all making your breaks fun, making your experience fun as you're working. And I definitely holistically believe in that. So great suggestion, Dean. I love it. Okay. Daily quests. Let's figure that out. So let's talk a bit about this. I'm going to go in, I'm going to say who should use this, members who are looking to build a baseline level consistent progression. Maybe build consistent progression is the baseline, too many words. Benefits, how does it work? There's formula guides. Okay, so the daily quest obviously lives in everything. It lives in L-Control, lives in Be Intentional, lives in Gamify Your Life. So all these things live there. I'm going to talk about, oh, actually roadmap can also be hidden because if it's in the bottom, it doesn't need to show. What can I talk about here? There's a lot of questions people had actually. I'm just gonna bring up the discussions that we had in the community and just quickly see what the biggest questions were, because I think it's really good to check out. So I'm going through, and then usually it's formula questions. Usually it's, you know, yeah, it's formula questions usually. Okay. Well, another thing that I want to talk about is, you know, the daily reflections. You can look back on how does it work. Use cases. The daily quest database easily rolls up to database to templates like our weekly review, which makes it so easy for us to go in and explore how we have, you know, how we have lived our week day by day, and especially how have we been doing with our daily quests. I think that's really important, so I do want to talk about that for a sec. That becomes something that we want to add in. And again, if this information isn't clear enough or been very much important for all this stuff, like important for your understanding, let me know, right? Add a comment, say, I want to learn more about blank. The whole point is that I want you guys to come in and give you guys a space to ask questions and help make this overall database more and more informative for anybody new that comes in. Because again, the beauty of our system is that everything comes together and everyone's helping to build it. So I don't ever want to forget that. That's something that's definitely very important to me. Okay, so for the quarterly, monthly reviews, I'm actually considering that these things can be just one thing, because I don't think we need to make these so big. Anyway, just thinking out loud. Okay, let me just think about it. Who should use this? Members that want to ensure that every quarter they are focused on their purpose. So the benefits is that determine your focus for areas, and I believe I just want to double check here. So again, the beauty of this in terms of how we can go in is we can easily go to the system setup, which is the tutorial section, and we can see, okay, so quarterly we're determining our values and areas. Okay, so we're going to determine our focus for areas, determine your focus for values for the quarter. So it becomes really easy for us to say like, hey, this quarter I'm going to focus on the areas of health, for example, of family. Maybe I'm going to focus on my values of, you know, honesty and integrity and whatever you'd like. And it becomes something that you're going to live by that quarter and focus on making that better. Again, if you believe in growth mindset, which we do in the community, everything that we are in our lives can be improved upon, and our best asset is how fast we can improve and how quickly we can adapt. So everything that we do here is based on that kind of philosophy of, you know, being able to go and do that kind of progression in our lives. Leveling up, right? Leveling up is our main thing that we really enjoy here. Awesome. How does it work? Okay, this one's really interesting. I don't think I've talked too much about, you know, these reviews, so I do want to explain them a little bit. Maybe it'll help the understanding of everybody. So let's go into this. I'm going to just check on this template. Okay, so properties. So we have dates. So we have dates. We have month. And I believe we have one more is areas of focus. Okay, so the dates one is select the date range for the quarter each entry encapsulates. And then here, select the months for the quarter, the months which this quarter covers. You don't need to select this when going through quarterly review. You would be instead selecting the quarter from the month view, from the month database. And then the areas of focus obviously is the areas and values which you determine to be important for your quarter. Okay. Now the use cases is very cool for this one. Basically, when you first start out your quarter, make a new entry. So I'm going to do like a little step-by-step process. So when you first start, make a new entry and determine your fantastic 6. Okay, so there's a whole tutorial there. I don't need to go in depth about it. When you are ending your quarter, come back into this entry and conduct a meaningful reflection on the quarter. All right, cool stuff. You go in and you say, you know, what's the highlights of the quarter? What's things that you succeeded in, you know? And another thing is like the unique workflows also. Unique workflows work on the unique workflows that come up every quarter. So these unique workflows are really interesting because maybe every quarter you want to do a spring cleaning, so you're going to declutter your room. Maybe every quarter you're going to redo your business goals. Maybe you're going to update your budget. So there's big things that you want to do every single quarter that's going to be helping you, you know, come in and essentially figure out what different workflows that you're going to work on. And yeah, and as Dean mentioned, like these cycles are up to you, determining on how you work in your life. Like my suggestion, and again, I've always emphasized my way is only a way, and I don't expect everybody to essentially fall in line. You must do it my way. No, 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 no. The whole intention here is that I'm giving you the architecture and framework to figure out what works for you. It's not intended for me to tell you how to live your life, but for me to tell you, to share how I live my life and give you an example to follow. And if you resonate with it, good. If you don't, then how can you adopt our system to work for you? Because everyone's unique, everyone's different, and everyone's very special in their own way. And I want to make sure that that individuality and uniqueness is encapsulated inside your work, inside the way that you live your life. So that's why everything that I've built is very much geared towards how can you make the best out of it? How can you, for example, here, understand how it's built and then tweak things to the way that you want to use it, and not be worried about like, oh, I don't want to break things. I don't want to, use it in a way that's not intended. Guess what? There's no intended way. Figure out what works for you, right? Yeah. So that's where I want to go with that. And okay, so let's talk about the monthly review as well. So, okay, let's go back into this and make sure that, so the packages that feature the quarterly review is the L control and be intentional. Awesome. So, and customization options, again, I'll just say like, the period doesn't have to be monthly, quarterly. You can decide to go through this process every 2, 4, 5, 6 months, whatever you like. The important thing is that you stick to a schedule and do it regularly. So that's very important. So that's the quarterly review, and let's now go into the monthly review. So again, as we like to go through, it's about going through the back end. Let's go into the monthly review and let's click on explore the schema. Again, very clear, very concise. You can go through this. Monthly review again is presence in L control and presence in be intentional. And why this was created was because, we need a way to recalibrate every month what goals and outcomes we want out of this period of time. I think a lot of us get very upset when we end up finishing a month. It's the 31st or the 30th of a month, and we decide that, hey, did we really accomplish anything of value this month? And when the answer is no, we feel horrible about that. We don't feel good. We feel like, what did we do? Why aren't we moving towards the goalpost that we've set out for ourselves? And usually the case is because we haven't set up very clear goalposts, right? So the whole intention here is that we want to create clear goalposts for ourselves that are very well defined and motivate us to work on whatever we want to accomplish that month. Okay, so who should use this? Members who feel lost every month when they feel lost at the end of the month and feel like they have not gotten the things that they really wanted to get done, have not completed the things that they really want to get done, right? So I think that's a really important concept, guys. I don't think this can be slept on. This is probably one of the review section is one of the most important things here, I'd say. So again, going into here, just trying to figure out, excuse me, a bit gassy. Going to figure out, the properties here. Well, again, we have the dates, you have the quarter. So let me just close this. So we have the dates. We have the quarter. Is it dates or dates? Dates. And then we have the weeks. And then we have also notes. Okay, perfect. So the dates is the date range in which this month is encapsulated. Oh, thank you. Anne suggested something very good. Drink water, guys. Water break, water break. Don't forget water break. Awesome. Thank you, Anne. Keeping us healthy every day. That's why she's in charge of wellness at the in Co-x3. Awesome. Okay, so the date range in which this month is encapsulated. We have the quarter, which is here is where we select the quarters which this month belongs to. The weeks that roll up into this month, don't select. You will be selecting the month from the week database, so you can ignore this. And in the notes is any notes you have about the week when you perform your review. So very cool stuff. The use cases again is at the beginning of each month, go into your monthly review and select the, let's make sure, select the sub areas and goals/outcomes you want to work on this month. You should ideally be basing this on the areas and values you are looking to improve this quarter. So you see that there's already a trend, right? And it's a very beautiful trend because you're using the focus that you set in the previous the bigger review cycle, right, from quarter to month to week, to help you guide your next step so that you don't have to be so stressed about knowing that the plan is in place for you to execute effectively on your dreams. And in a way, and I don't like to get religious on this channel, but in a way, this is how I kind of see how, religion kind of helps people around the world essentially focus on doing the right thing, right? It's because they believe that there's a greater plan. They believe that there's an almighty God that's there to, plan something around, their lives, that there's a plan in place and that things are going to work out for them. So the contrast and comparison here is that I'm providing you a way for you to figure out yourself, right? For you to create that master plan for yourself based on data, based on information that you have about your own life, based on, insights that you have. And I think that's just so beautiful because not only do you have the faith and the trust in that there's a larger, plan at work, but you know that you're the one behind that plan. You're the one that created that, and you're the one that has decided that these are the things that are important for you to work on. So there's no confusion, and at the end of the day, you take full responsibility of how you're going to live your life. So something to think about and reflect on. But yeah, so that's something that is very meaningful here. So you can use that. So you go in. Actually, I do want to talk about that. Actually, maybe that's something that's useful to put in the benefits here. I say a lot of cool stuff, but I don't think I actually put it down on paper well enough. So in terms of benefits here, then we have an opportunity to determine your own focus and not be and have the faith that you have a bigger plan when you work and execute on your projects and tasks. Those are very important things for you to consider, right? Then at the end of the month, you can browse the highlights of the month, wins that you had, as well as let's double check what highlights is because I just want to see what's in there. The week review. Okay, so as well as how the week went. Very cool stuff. Okay, so that's the monthly review, and I'm gonna do one more. Actually, let's finish up the weekly reviews, and then I'll do one about the dashboards, and then I think we'll end the stream there. I think we've covered a lot, but I hope that this process gives you an idea of how I would go about this, and maybe how you can go in and add stuff to help out the the build up process. Because again, this takes a lot of work. It's not a one-man job, and I definitely appreciate everybody that comes in here and has taken the initiative to work on our initiatives and make Co-x3 a stronger and better place. So really appreciate everybody, guys. Love you all. So for weekly review is we want a easy way to, we want a convenient, maybe not the right adjective, but we want a seamless way to roll up all the inputs that we have done in a given week, and ensure that the work we have performed is working towards the projects that we have determined a focus for. So the really cool thing about this is, in terms of who should use it, I think people that have essentially, I think weekly planning is something that very well known. Everybody knows you should do a weekly plan. Hey, I should look forward to the week and see what's been focused on. But I think the unique benefit that we have is that once you do a weekly plan, we make it very obvious across the entire workspace what your weekly plan is. So let me just explain this for a bit, and then I'll show you how it works actually, because I really like the way this database is structured. So who should do this? Members who want to make their weekly planning smarter by leveraging their own data found inside their daily quests and success plan. So the benefits of this is based on, so let's go into the weekly review. Let's just show you guys how it looks for a second. So I go into my weekly review. I'm actually going to show you example like January 12th to 18th. It's just an example. You can see how your mood look like for the whole week. You can see your key habit to track if you've been doing that. In this case, we're tracking morning water. How our sleep was the whole week, what's our output, as well as, what's the word cloud that we had, what were we thinking about during the whole week. I think that's pretty cool. But anyway, I'm going to open this up and I'm going to see, for example, you can see everything here, it's very nice, and it can roll up to the month as well, the different mistakes you've made, the gratitudes you had, conversations you had, everything rolls up. So beautiful, right? So I think one of the benefits is, easily see in one glance how your week went, the conversations you've had, happiness metrics, outputs, sleep, etc. Essentially, it's a holistic life dashboard. And then what you can see also is, your week's focus, either your week's and then also your week's request, your week's win. Okay, so basically you can also plan out your week in accordance to your big goals and outcomes by determining your projects of focus. So how does this work? This is pretty cool. I'm not going to name all the different ones because a lot of them are roll-ups and I don't really need to explain all those roll-ups just yet. Well, maybe I should. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to do it short because I don't want to spend too much time on this in this live stream. Let's talk about month. Let's talk about daily quests. And then let's talk about, one of them. Let's talk about, for example, notes. Okay, so the date range which this week encapsulates, the month which this week lives in, daily quest, a relation category, a relation property for your daily quests. so that the roll-ups can feed from read from that database. Roll-ups can look up the database. Awesome. And then finally, notes is your notes for the week. So awesome. So the use case here, let's just talk about it quickly, because the first step is go into the weekly review, make a new entry. Make a new entry in the weekly review every at the start of the week. We recommend Sundays. Based on the areas, I think it's a few things. So based on the goals you have this in key results this month, determine which projects are best for you to work on. So that's pretty cool. Then as you go through your week, you will be able to see the projects you have defined to be in focus to everywhere on your major dashboards to focus on, and make sure that you have also completed your daily quests throughout the week so that you have an opportunity to essentially see a roll up of important insights throughout the week. So really cool stuff, right? And then at the end of the week, come back to see the data populated and make a good decision and reflect on how the week went. So that's kind of like the use case. I'm just going to be a bit brief, but I did want to show you guys the really cool thing here, which was if I have these active projects to work on, basically I've selected that these I want to be my focus, right? So I selected that these I want to be a focus. For example, maybe I also want getting a puppy to be my focus this quarter, right? It doesn't really matter. It's just things that I've decided. So this is where I want to show you guys one of our very cool dashboards, which is daily planning. Okay. And daily planning is a very meaningful dashboard. I won't open it up as a page as I do. So if I open it up as a page, I can see that these are all our things that I can plan for. And you can see again, you see a reference tab. And the referencing references everything that we talked about in our weekly and monthly review. Again, why that's important is because normally when we start off a month and we say, hey, I want to focus on this, by mid-month, we forget that we wanted to focus on that. I want to change that for us. I want to be like, hey, I've decided that I'm going to focus on these outcomes and these goals. And I know that I'm going to focus on these because I am seeing on my daily planning, every single day I'm going to be on this page. These are the things I want to work on. So let's say that I'm checking my emails in the morning or just reflecting in the morning, thinking about what I want to work on, right? And then something comes to mind. Maybe I want to go to the pet store and get some kibble, or maybe I want to look online to get, I'm just using a puppy example because it's happy, right? But let's say I have a new inbox item that comes in that says, okay, I just want to quickly go and, research dog breeds that, are fluffy. Whatever, they're all fluffy dogs. All dogs are fluffy, but no, not really. I know what I'm saying. Cute dogs, okay? But let's say I want to do that. So what I can do is I can actually just drag this into the getting a puppy project, open up the project, go to the bottom, and then drag this into my task. So this becomes a new quest I'm working on, and then of course I can make it a new awesome task. But basically what happens is instantly it shows up into my ready to start inside my success plan. And then I can now drag this into my active quest for something I want to work on today. And I gotta sort that priority. Within 3 clicks, I have determined exactly what I want to work on. It's in line with my projects that I want to work on this week, which is in line with the outcomes I want this week for myself, which is in line with the goals I have for this quarter. This is so powerful. I cannot even begin to explain the depth of this and the importance that it can bring to your life. Because for the very first time, and this is something that I personally wanted for such a long time, is that you can relate everything that you want to do in your life together. You can make sure that the things you're doing every single day is actually working towards what you actually want in life, and you don't forget what you want in life. I think we often forget, or maybe we're just hard on ourselves, right? We don't respect ourselves sometimes. We don't think that we should get all the things that we get in our lives, and we don't actively chase towards our dreams. But this is how I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to change it by first making it extremely easy for you to chase after your dreams, because it's already all laid out, right? It's the lowest barrier of entry. It's the lowest barrier of, it's the easiest path to follow. And if the easiest path to follow is your most productive path, and now your most happy path, that's something that I think is really cool. Okay, so given that that's the really cool thing I want to share about this specific dashboard, I actually just realized we actually don't have like a little blurb at the top. That's wrong. We need to create that blurb. So let me just quickly go and grab the thing here, because we have a schema. I want to make sure that that's well reflected. So we have a schema for this. We're going to explore the schema, and then I'm going to grab, this is a global block actually, so I'm just going to make sure that it's a global block. Take that. Ooh. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to paste it here. This becomes that. Awesome. And then this link needs to be a new link. So what I need to do right now is I need to go back into the collaborative system schema, go back into the L-Control handbook, and I need to make a new one because we don't have that. So this is a Be Intentional database, or dashboard rather. We have, this is called daily planning. And I'm going to make a new item here. Daily planning is present, of course, in L-Control and Be Intentional. So we can see that. And now we can see this load. Okay, Notion's a bit slow today. We'll see. Perfect. So why was it created? We want a very clear way to plan out our day and work on what matters most. The beauty of this dashboard is that it also references the daily, the review cycles, so that it showcases all the outcomes and projects, all the key results and projects that we have decided are important to us and that we want to work on. Thus deciding what we should do every single day is extremely easy and intuitive. Okay, so who should use this? Anybody or members that want to plan effectively and efficiently in their lives. The benefits is very obvious, being able to move an item from your inbox into your success plan very easily. And then also we can also talk about being able to, being able to sort and prioritize the work that you have to do today, based on your priorities, right? And then we can also be able to see at a bird's eye view all the different outcomes and projects that you want to work on this that you have decided are important to work on. Awesome. So that's like a bit of a brief about like this kind of stuff. I'll take a few questions. I think Cass had a really good question I wanted to answer actually. I just didn't have a chance to get into here. But basically, she asked, does this mean it's now possible to implement a badge for the weekly review? I would like to track whatever the focus task is for the review without specifying a specific task in tags. Yeah, so it's not exactly a badge, but you can track like if you have like how consistent you are with a certain with the certain daily quest. Now, the difference in that is you don't actually track that for the long term. Like, oh, okay, sorry, you do track it for a long term, and how you would see it then is when I have multiple. So I'm going to just let's use the build your own system as the front end to go in there. So let's say I go into the conducting review cycles. So you can take a look and you can see. So for example, if I had multiple weeks, right? It's not just Jan 12th to 18th. I had every week for the last, year. Then I can go in and I can see the key habit to track. And whenever I want to change the key habit to track, I can actually see all the different key habits I want, and I can duplicate this too. So for example, let's say I'm very curious over the course of my entire month or entire year, have I been sleeping on time? Have I been eating on time? Have I been, have I been meditating? Have I been doing fitness? These are things that you can easily filter and you can see across the entire week. So that's what it looks like in there. But you can definitely make a weekly review badge. Exactly. If you want to do that, that works. So you make a weekly review badge that just tracks like this key habit, whatever this key habit is. Just remember, because this is dynamic, you can change this property. So whatever this key habit is, it can now calculate how much percentage, because you can actually have this where you can see like the percentage checked or percentage unchecked, and this actually automatically calculates the percentage anyways for you. And if you want to make a badge about that, you can roll up that information very, very easily. So that's a great question, Cass. Good stuff. Awesome. Well, guys, it's been a wonderful stream. I cannot overemphasize the happiness I have today for sharing this accumulation of so much hard work and so much collaborative opportunities that we have for the family to come together and make our space better. I really hope you resonated with at least something I shared today, and in some way it's made your life a bit better. Again, our whole intention here is that we want to create systems for a better life. We believe that the best way for us to live better, to be happier, to be more fulfilled is to find out the right data that goes into making our lives, being more honest with ourselves about what we want to do and what we can do. And then how do we then take action on that data? How do we make sure that the things that we have defined that are important to us, we're actually running towards, first at a jog, then at a light run speed, and then at a sprint, and then finally at full speed. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, whether it be your Friday evening if you're in North American time zone, or if you're in Asia like me and it's the beginning of your wonderful Saturday. Please take care, have a wonderful day, and yeah, don't forget, be intentional.